Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Okay, so yes, I used an ad here mention in Discord, and that's because I should have reviewed this one the first of the month. Every month, if you've watched any of my other reviews for free content, but every month in the marketplace they give away an average of 5 free assets. Free this month is Custom Movement. This is one we're going to do right now. Explosion Builder, I haven't looked at yet, but looks cool. Fantasy Medieval Architecture, that one looks kind of cool, but haven't used it yet. First Person Story Adventure, I just finished a video on that one, or a stream on this one, and it's pretty cool. I haven't looked at Real Liquid yet. Haven't found a need for it, so that's why I haven't opened it up yet. If you have not got these already, get them now. Add them to your cart. Get them while they're free. And again, I should have done this first of the month. And tomorrow, I will start doing one of these at least per day for the first week of them being free. At least one video a day. So again, I apologize that I did not do these at the first of the month. But yeah, this is the one we're going to look at right now. And I really think you should grab this one while it's still free. Again, at midnight tonight, it will no longer be free. So tomorrow will be a new set of 5. Last month, I believe, there was actually 10 that were free. And one of them, I think, last month was the fireworks one, and it was pretty slick. So I'm going to quit yammering on about all that, and let's actually take a look. Now, I have tried this. You see, I added a second player start, and I tried this in multiplayer, and it is replicated and working just fine. So, of course, I have the mouse bug. We'll worry about that here shortly. But what you got is your first-person or your third-person character. As you can see, these green lines and green dots are climb points. So as soon as you walk over to them, your character automatically uses a custom animation blueprint and climbs up. And if there isn't one of those green lines on there, then it's not a climb point. But anywhere that there is those green, even if they're not all the way to the ground, you can jump and grab a hold of them and climb up. And as you can see, you walk over to them and you'll automatically turn around and be able to start going on there, or you can hit the space bar and actually jump free from there. So that is pretty damn slick. So again, the ladder mechanism with the animations to go with them for getting on and off. Again, as soon as you walk up to them, like I say, these are higher. You can jump up and grab a hold of them. But if you come over and you get close enough, you can actually utilize them and actually go down them as well. Hit spacebar to drop free. Now you've also got these little dots here, which are climb points. So you see, you get on there and you can climb. You can actually go sideways. You can go back down. You can go up, even diagonal. And then when you get to like a certain gap, you can still climb. You can go all the way across. You can scale across to these other ones. You get to corners, it negotiates around them as well, which I'll go up to the very top. So here, I'm kind of forced to go down a little bit. See, he's trying to reach over and he just can't quite reach those, but I can go there and move up here. This is really, really cool. So we get up here, we can actually go around the corners. That's awesome. And you hit spacebar, you can drop off. So you can see you walk over and you automatically start climbing. Now there are some caveats to it. If you get to a certain point, you get too close to them, it automatically puts you on there. If you're just trying to run by, you can usually get by. But if you get too close, it'll sometimes automatically put you on them, which, whatever. Like that, it automatically puts you in there. Even if you didn't want to, you can just go back up again. So you get to a certain point where you get close enough to them, and you can start climbing down. Spacebar to drop off. So I think this is a really, really cool system. The asset pack, whenever you get it from the marketplace, you have to create project with it. You can't just add it to a project. See, that one, he didn't want to just like walk up to it and just start on. Yeah, see right there, he's not wanting to climb on this one, but you know, that wasn't high enough to where you had to worry about it. You can just jump across to that one. But if you're doing any kind of climbing game or adventure game where you need to be able to do climbing, I think that would be freaking awesome. I think what I'll do is in a separate video is I will go ahead and convert this over to Cinti Studios characters and see if I can retarget it all and get it to look decent. So you can imagine if you're doing like the adventure pack and you're wanting to have your Lara Croft or you want to have your Indiana Jones vibe going on, then absolutely. So let's go ahead and take a look at this in 2 players, new pie window. Now I'm going to leave the server in a different window. So this is the actual client we're working with right here. So I'm going to go ahead and you won't be able to see on that screen, but you can see if I look at the right monitor, actually in this case the left monitor, you can see it is replicating just fine. And I can climb up with the server. And I'm going to leave him right there, and we're going to come back to the client. So you can see right there, if I come up and climb one more peg, come over, and he actually climbed up that time. So you can get the full replication going with this as well. So that's pretty slick. It won't let me climb over to that ladder, but I can climb back up, go to the top, come back around, and let's move the client over so we can see. Now I have noticed that whenever you're doing this, the your player will walk through or climb through other players. But I think that's freaking awesome. You see, you're colliding with each other. That would be a simple fix if I remembered how to do it. Or you can just stick your ass in somebody else's face. So you see, you would climb through the other person. Not a big thing. But I think it's just freaking cool. So we'll go back into single and selected viewport. And yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for this if you're trying to get an adventure game going. But it doesn't matter how cool it looks if you can't implement it yourself. So let's take a look at the world settings. They're using the BP custom move third person game mode. Their example character and everything else looks okay. But what happens if we try to create our own? So I'm going to come over here. Let's see. Was there any materials? Yes. Use their wall material. We'll get a BSP geometry. And I'm just going to drop a box in here. Go to details. And we'll leave the X and the Y the same. But we'll change the Z height to 1000, which means we need to put this at 500. Which means floor is not zeroed. Alright, so we'll do that. So we'll have a large tower to climb on. So on one side, let's try to put a ladder. Let's see here. Components, no, example character. The zone. I have not tried to do this yet. So we'll put that there, and that's the actual blueprint for the ladder climb. So as we can see, oh, I hate that mouse cursor bug. We just put that in there. We can walk over, and he automatically starts climbing. But he can't go any farther than that. So what happens if we try to scale this? It goes up. So let's actually delete that one, since there is a stretchable ladder blueprint. Let's see, there's stretchable ladder and stretchable ladder form. Now, Let's see. Well, all else fails, look at the details. Step count 4. Let's try it at 12. There we go. So let's try 18. And I'll just take that and move it to where the top rung is right there, close to the very top. So let's see how that one works. Now, you combine this with, I would imagine, let's actually try walking up from the ground. So yeah, we do need to hit the spacebar and jump a little bit. So now we can climb this ladder. Now you can change the ladder appearance. I'm sure that would be an easier thing to do in the blueprint. And he automatically got back on it, so you can climb down and you can spacebar to jump off at any point. So that's awesome. Zone ladder form top. Now, by looking at the some of the boxes that are in here, these characters, I'm assuming that the developer of this asset pack is Korean. Not that that matters, but just has some unusual characters here on box collisions for the naming. I don't know what that says because I don't speak whatever that language is. So I'm actually going to click on that one again, and there, the blueprint for the ladder, and I'm going to move it down, and I'm just going to add, let's try 19. Let's make it 20. So it goes all the way to the bottom. Let's see if that affected anything. So I'll walk over here, just walk up to the ladder. Now I can automatically get into it. I can't shift over once I'm already on there. So once you start on the ladder, it seems like that's the position you're going to be able to climb from. You can't slide left and right once you're on the ladder. But that's awesome. Very easy to slap that into it. We'll look at adding a different material on there, see if we can, or a different static mesh or whatever it takes, see if we can change the ladder. You get to the bottom and it just climbs right off. Alright, so the handholds, as I'm looking at them on here, I don't know what the deal is with these arrows back and forth. They show which direction you can go to and from, but I don't know anything about those. So let's actually come over here and I'll do it on this side. I don't see any other blueprints other than just this one. And there's an arrow. Alright, so by looking at it, we can see the arrow is facing in that direction, so I'm assuming that we're going to have to rotate it so that the arrow is pointing towards where we're putting it. And for now, I'm just going to place one and see what happens. I don't know how high we need to place it, but I'm going to have to address that mouse cursor bug here really soon. It's going to bug me. Alright, so it did grab a hold of it, and since there are no more, he's not going to be able to grab anything else. So, but if I do down, he can't get back off of it, but I can hit spacebar and get off of there. I'm actually going to move it down a little bit. Control C and Control V. And not going to make a very complicated grid. I'm just going to place like 3 wide. And I'll grab all 3 of these. Control C, Control V, and I'll do a spacing like that. I'm going to grab these also. Control C, Control V, and looks about right for spacing. And we'll just keep placing a few of them up here. Not being perfect on my placement here, but whatever. We'll see if it works. And let's grab the last 3. Put them really close to the top, and then I'll just place them on the edge. Now looking how they had theirs set up on the corner over here, there was one on the corner and then just slightly around. Control C, Control V, and I will rotate this one around. Let's change the rotation to 5. And we'll Control V. Rotate that one around 90. And just going to place it against the wall. Like I said, this is my first time trying to do any of these, so don't know if it's going to work or not. We will see. So we know that ladder works just by simply placing it there and saying the number of steps we want. And so I can see the placement's a little bit too far above and below. It doesn't actually have the arrows on there. So update near holds. There we go. And you can select whether it's a top hold or not. So these work. So after hitting the update near holds, I can tell that these are not quite close enough. So I'm going to go ahead and move that up one more and see what happens when we hit update. There we go. So yeah, you're going to have to make sure that they are close enough to each other. So my placement was off just a little bit. So I'm going to fix that problem really quickly. No worries. It's all learning on it. But being that easy to do, I mean, hell, if I can just install it and do it. Hell, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Shit. Yeah, I mean, that's... Like I said, I'll do update holds again. And you see, he can go left and right with these. And now after I update, now I can go up, down, left, and right. If they were a little bit closer, maybe there was some in between, you could do some diagonals. But since I didn't have my spacing just right on here, then that's why they weren't able to connect. But it's easy enough to fix, and that's good. So once you get your placement right, then all you have to do is hit the button here for update near holds, and it will fix them. It takes a couple seconds, but it fixes it. I think this is absolutely cool. I'm going to have to do some experimenting with this and play around with the Cinti characters on this. You know, updating the animation blueprint and the player character and so forth. It won't take that much, I'm sure. You know, anytime you're doing anything like that, when you're retargeting to another character with a different skeleton and so forth, I'm going to move these up. Then double up, Control C, Control V, now that I know where I need my spacing. And that should be good enough. And update near holds. That should fix all of them. So I should, have 4-way climb on all of them. Now when I run over here, I've got this perfect little climbing grid. Walk over and I can just start climbing. And now I can go left and right. Climb all the way to the very top. And there was another selection here. Yep, that one's not close enough. And what I need to do now is select all of these that are on the top. Very easy to pick up on and very easy to learn how to set these up. This is one of the few asset packs that I've seen that were actually good. So, don't mean it that way, but okay, those is top hold. So let's go try it now. Since they are the top hold, then I should be able to, when I get up there, climb up to the very top of the platform. Speed's a little slow, but you know what? It looks good. There we go. Climb up, and we can climb down to them. And spacing's still wrong. All right, noob. Get your stuff together. Update near holds. Forgot to click that. There we go. So, really excited about that and being able to actually use that. So you can quickly set up a ladder system. So the only thing I see is once you're on the ladder, you cannot move left and right. You're there on the ladder. But not a huge deal breaker since right now it's still free. Yeah, I can live with that. You know? There's nothing over here for me to grab onto, but I can go down, left, right, spacebar and release. So that is awesome. All right, so that is that. I think this is freaking awesome. I'm going to actually look at the handholds and see what's in the blueprint. There's a lot of shit in here. Get hold. There's all kind of stuff that's already open in the functions for this. But I'm going to look in the viewport, and we can see we just got this little thing here, static mesh. So that tells me that I can change this to whatever I want for a static mesh. That's fine. Simple ladder, same thing. Viewport, you got your trigger box. Top, bottom, let's see. There is no static mesh reference in here, so look at, click to enter vent graph. Yep. Definitely not English. That to me looks like Korean. I'm not hating it because I'm thankful that it's here and it's free and could use it. We're doing a cast to our character, so if we needed to modify that to another character, that's fine. Alright, so that it still tells me though that since there is no, you got a scene component, there is no static mesh component. You got trigger box, arrow, top, bottom, enter, and bottom enter. Ladder from top, stretchable ladder. No static mesh reference. So with no static mesh in there, zone ladder. Yeah, these are all scene components. There is no actual static mesh reference in here, so there has to be a parent somewhere for it. Yeah. So we'd have to find the parent for that, because if you want to change the static mesh that you actually see for your ladder, you're going to have to find that, and I'll look for that really quickly. If I click back on this one right here, I did see the step width scale and width margin. And what happens if I change that? It was 20. I don't see any change there. 2.5. Okay, well, you can change the width of it. See what that does when we actually go in here and try to use it. Still works. Okay. So where would the actual physical static mesh reference of that be? Your example character, interface, struct, zone, static mesh cube. Let's save all since we got our own custom thing in there. Characters, I wouldn't imagine that would be in here. That's just your character. Blend spaces. Yeah, retargeting is going to be fun because there's a lot of blend spaces going on here. So I don't know. May or may not do a retargeting right now. Just want to kind of play around with it and see what we can do with the ladder and the little climbing meshes. So if you actually want to have your own static mesh, replacing that is not bad. But I got to find where the actual master is for the ladder. You can see you just got one step there. I don't actually see a reference to the static mesh. Find closest bottom location. Bottom is a variable. Local variables. So yeah, I would have to find the master for it. It does bug me that things are not in folders correctly. Sort of organizing some of that a little bit, but I didn't want to do too much so you could see exactly what I was seeing. Content, custom movement, blueprints, curves. There's a lot of background stuff going on in here, so it's pretty well thought out. Since there is only just that cube that is the static mesh, and it has that green material on it, something's telling me that the ladder system, if I can find the master for it, is probably using that same cube and it's just stretched out. So we'd have to see what it's going to take to actually change the mesh over for the ladder itself. Dean Ashford had a really good video on ladders, so that's also a good thing. So I imagine, well, by having that, instead if I come in here and added another one in that was like at an angle right over here. So let's just do that. Control C, Control V. And as I do that, you can see it's automatically got the directional. If I hit update near holds, see if that changes. It shouldn't have been able to reach over to there. But now it's going to allow me to go from here to here to here and then back over to here if I want to. So I can go up to here or back down to here. So it's a lot going on to be able to do that. It's really cool. But just need to find that master for the reference to the ladder itself for the static mesh reference of where it actually is located. And I'm not seeing that just yet. Custom movement component. Yeah, see, there's a lot going on here. Oh, wow. So you're using timelines for a lot of these things. The animation montage to use is listed in here. I'm not going to edit this one at all. A lot going on in here. It's a movement component. So yeah, I don't know exactly where the actual reference is to that, because I mean, by clicking on any of the ladders, if you select it, like this is the one that we used here, and you edit the blueprint, it's just going to go right back to here where we already were. And you can see scene component, box collision, arrow, scene, 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 scene. So with all these freaking functions open in tabs here, let's find top, find bottom, and I mean, if you look at the bottom, it's just variable, step count, step height, half width, scale, and margin. Components, you've just got scene, arrow, and box collision, or box trigger, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there is no direct reference. Get that a rotation. Yeah, there's a lot going on in here, but again, no direct reference to a static mesh anywhere. Do not enter the middle if close to the floor. There's a lot of functions in here. Check enter top. Get top interlocation. Custom movement, self. Yeah, this is the trigger. Yeah, that's there's nothing in here that I see that references the static mesh. Add static mesh component, but set static mesh new mesh is the cube. So right there, I'm actually going to close all these extra ones up. We're in a construction script to find that. Let's see, event graph. Yeah, so let's go back to the construction script of the stretchable ladder, and here is our reference. And as I imagined before, it was using that cube static mesh. So if you want to use a different static mesh for a ladder, you can try doing it there, because this is the mesh that we currently have, and it is the same box collision, or not box collision, dumbass. The static mesh cube, this right here, which was this. It is using that same static mesh for the ladder, but it's changing the size inside of the blueprint of how big it actually is and the aspect ratios and so forth. So if you have a ladder mesh you want to try to use, then that will be the one to change. In the construction script of this one's being the stretchable ladder, but if you think about it the way that they're doing it, it's an individual step or rung. So therefore, yeah, it's probably not going to work if you just changed out to any other static mesh. If you try doing a ladder itself, then what's going to happen is it may not look right. So I don't know how that's going to work for changing out the static mesh. If you want to try it and let me know how it works, the static mesh reference is actually in the construction script of that one's a stretchable ladder. I'm going to go back to where the hell were they? In the zone folder. So if you went into the zone ladder, and I'm going to close down all the rest of these. There's a construction script, so I'll look in there for this one as well. Construction script, scroll all the way to the right. Yes and no, but there is no reference in here to hide. And this is the only reference to adding a static mesh component is right here, and then it's outputting to that, and this is the static mesh. So it's not like you actually have it in here, because if you look in the viewport, there is nothing that is a direct. You got the trigger box, which is a box collision. That's a scene component, is the root. That's an arrow component, so you know which way to actually get your direction. That's a scene component, that's a scene, and that's a scene. All these are scene components. An arrow, box collision, scene component, and yeah. So the only place to actually find the reference to a static mesh is right there. And I don't have a ladder static mesh easy to grab. I know Battle Royale has a tower. So you're adding the static mesh component. Let's say you couldn't actually put this on here and actually hide, like you're saying, hide the actual static mesh component, or change that new mesh to none, and just to see what happens. Because the only static mesh component that's in here is that one. So what would happen if I selected none? Actually, not on this one. I don't want to change anything on this one. The one that I have set up is the stretchable. So let's see what happens if I select none there. So there's only one static mesh in the whole frickin' asset pack. So see, there is no visible static mesh. What happens if you just walk over and start climbing? Alright, so it will still work without having a static mesh there. So in this case, if you just wanted to have this functionality there, you just place the functionality there and it works. So if you've got a ladder that you can actually put into your map and put it there, or if you want to build your own custom ladder, that would be fine. So I'm still absolutely digging this. I would probably leave the static mesh in there while setting it up, so that you can actually see your parameters for where you can actually climb. So I think that would be good for setting it up initially. Then you could always go back in there and change that. Totally digging these. Yes, I have them very symmetrical. So I can still go up and down there, but since I added this new one in here, I could actually go diagonal on that one. Let's drop off of that one. You see he's got all these that are just randomly placed, or more randomly placed than what I did. I got to be symmetrical and everything. I'm just stupid that way, or a nerd that way. But I do like you can actually put them around corners and that kind of stuff. I don't think you can reach. Oh, you can reach all the way across there. Alright. So being able to go around corners and that kind of stuff. But you can't transition from here to a ladder, which is kind of weird. Hopefully they'll update on that, but damn it, for a free asset pack, I won't have a hell of a lot to complain about. And I should go back in here, and I'm going to close that for now and play it one more time and multiplayer. So here is the client. I got server on another screen, so I've got it on another monitor. So we'll take our client over here, and we'll have him. Actually, no, let's come over here to this one. Might have that bottom row a little bit too low because he kind of squats and goes down on the ground. Then I'm going to bring the server over. And how you doing, bud? Nope. Now let's go back to the client here. So you can see it's fully replicated. So I'm going to bring him all the way up to here, and I'm going to bring the server up. as a server. Really cool. So yeah, if you're wanting to hide those little green dots on a green ladder, then that would be what I would do. Is just put them in the map, get them all there, get them all functional, and once you've got them functional, then go ahead and change the static mesh reference in the blueprint to none. Yay. And there was much rejoicing. See what I'm saying about being on there? I would probably get rid of that bottom row. So let's go back to, one player, selected viewport, and let's go back over here, and I will get rid of this bottom row. Yeah, because they're linked right now is why it gave that error. I kind of figured that would be the case. Delete that and say yes to all. I'm going to select another one and update near holds, so it should purge that, and there we go. So we'll run over here and see how it looks now with getting rid of that bottom row. There we go. So when we're at the lowest point here, we're not sticking to the ground. Try to get off of it. The only way to get off from the pegs here is to hit spacebar. But I think this is freaking awesome. This is not necessarily a game changer, but if you're doing this type of game where you need climbing, this is for sure the way to do it. Just that easy to set up. So if you're making an adventure game and you're really wanting to have a climbing method, and it works with replication, so climbing around edges and yep. I'm digging it. I don't necessarily have a use for it right now, but I'll probably put together. Like I said, I'll throw an attempt to put the City Studios characters in here. Where I see this is going to be a problem probably is, okay, this is the event graph, gamepad input, don't care, got mouse input, movement input, jump, event update custom movement. See, I'm not going to remove any of these. On start custom movement, event dispatcher, yeah, I don't need to mess with anything that's in here. This should be fine. I'm not going to be changing the character. There's nothing in construction script. So I don't need to change anything here, but I am going to go back to the event graph. And because I freaking hate that mouse cursor when you first start up, I'm just going to do event begin play and add in my usual. Do you guys get that mouse cursor whenever you hit play? Whenever you go in here and just hit play, do you have a mouse cursor? And this only affects it in New Pi, like this mode right here. So if I actually click anywhere on the screen, then the mouse cursor goes away. But if I hit play, New Pi window, I still have that issue. Does anybody else have that problem where they have a mouse cursor on their screen where they actually have to click on the screen and go in there? Now, if I package this as a playable game, then I don't see that at all. It doesn't happen, I don't think. But all it takes is just coming in here and set in event begin play, set input to game only, and get player controller. And set show mouse cursor. I'm old and grumpy as shit, so that bugs the hell out of me having that mouse cursor. Every freaking time I try to test a map or test a function or test whatever, that mouse cursor, it just bugs me because I'm constantly testing things. And all you have to do is that. Event begin play. Set input to game only. Get a reference to your player controller, plug it in here. drag off from the player controller and set show mouse cursor, leave it unchecked. By doing that, that's all you have to do. And whether you're in any mode, look, I have direct control. I didn't have to click on the damn screen. And it's been like this since, what, 4.17? When 4.18 came out, I started getting that issue. Definitely 4.19 for sure. But I know damn sure in 4.20. But I think it started in either 4.17 or 4.18. It started being a problem. So now it is not a problem. As soon as I hit play, no mouse cursor, I can go directly into actually doing what I want to do and then hit escape and come back out of it. So that's all it took to fix that issue. But I'm going to quickly take a look, and won't do it in this video. I'll do another video so I can change the icon for it to where I can actually, if you guys want to see it, update this to work with Cindy Studios characters. And I may bring in like the whatchamacallit, the Battle Royale, because it's got towers you can climb up to, and you would normally be able to get into. So I'll try that. But excuse me, what I wanted to do was see how bad it was going to be to actually import them in here. So Atom Graph, default machine, custom movement, yeah, that's not a problem. Event graph, that shouldn't be a problem. Looks like the only thing he really added into the event graph was yeah, the only thing that was added in here was this. Event blueprint, initialize animation, and that's the only thing I see new. These are default from third-person animation blueprint. So redoing that animation blueprint, and that's going to be the one for just walking around and jump. Standard third-person animation blueprint, he just called it ABP _ example character. So if you were migrating in other stuff, it wouldn't be like that. So where I think we're going to have our issue is going to be with here. Maybe not so much the animation blueprint for the custom movement, because you got all this lovely stuff in the anim graph. But this should not affect anything. Animation montages, since there's a lot of animation montages set up in here, for entering the ladder, bottom, blah, blah, blah. You got all these different animations right here. So once you retarget this one is where you're going to have to worry about the montages. They may translate over, when they should, whenever you just right click and retarget and do it that way. So that they should, but if not, you may end up having to retarget all these animations separately. All these should be the ones set up in the montages. But you've got 5 blend spaces here as well that may end up having to be retargeted separately. Your montages, there's only 6 of them. So it may or may not be a problem. But if you guys want to see setting up Cindy Studios characters to run with this asset pack so that we'll be able to use our own custom characters from there. Let's see, all I did here was I just made the ladder wider. Okay. I did this one being shorter or narrower, so that it looks a little bit better no matter if you are off a little bit left and right. So you can still look around, which is kind of cool. I didn't want to check out your nutsack there, bro. Nobody wants to see Android nuts. Well, I can't say nobody. There might be somebody out there that wants to see an Android nut. But you can just jump off. So with, like the towers, unless you guys can think of a different asset pack from Cindy Studios that you'd rather see instead of the Battle Royale pack. But I know that one actually has the towers. So does Vikings has some towers with ladders on it. What other asset packs from Cinti actually has ladders in it? You don't necessarily have to have the ladders, because you could also use these right here, and actually change the static mesh for this one. They could just be rocks or whatever else, or so you could just be a Spider-Man looking mofo and just delete the static mesh from the blueprint once you've got it set up, and actually be able to just make it look like you're free climbing a wall or what have you. So I'm going to take a break for a little bit. This one, for God's sake, if you haven't already grabbed this from the marketplace, right now, go right now to the marketplace and get it while it's free. If you had to pay for it, yeah, go right ahead. I think it'd be pretty freaking cool to have this one way or the other. So if you're watching this after today, July 31st, 2019, it is no longer going to be free after today. Right now, it is free on the marketplace. Go get it, whether you need it right now or not. Plain and simple. Those 5 free assets. This is it right here. Custom movement by Jusik Lee. Jusik for real, man. This is some sick stuff. Good stuff. I haven't looked at this one yet, or this one, but I did do a video earlier today on this one, and this is the video for this one. So, and I'm totally digging this one. This one's really, really cool. This one's got some cool stuff in it, but every month they put at least 5 free. I think last month was 10, but every month they put at least 5 free things up here. And if you haven't been downloading them every month, then shame on you. You may not need them now, but if you want a cool custom ladder animation system, the package size, if you just wanted this right here by itself, custom movement, is 21 megabytes. 21 megs. That's nothing. The average Cinti Studios asset pack is between smaller sized ones were like 80 something megabytes on up to over 300 megabytes. If you go in here and add new feature content pack and add in starter content, that's over 700 megabytes. It doesn't sound like, oh, well, I'm not worried about that. Well, if you're not worried about it, that's cool. But if you're worried about keeping file size to a minimum and you're going to do a temporary release on like itch.io, which is what I do, you have to be under 1 gigabyte in file size, or you're going to have to pay for the extra file size. So if you're trying to keep your overall package under a gigabyte, every little asset you're trying to shovel into your asset, your actual game project, is going to add up. If you're trying to stay under that 1 gigabyte mark, this is a great way to go. If you want to use a much simpler system, then Dean Ashford had a really good video on doing ladders and setting up a static mesh that's scalable and everything else. He had a really good video on that one. I would do a video on that, but he already did a good one. He's not going to be doing any more videos for a while. Dude's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, but he's not going to be doing more videos right now because he got a new job, an actual paid position doing materials and so forth for another company. I don't remember exactly what it was, and it would probably end up being a conflict of interest for him to continue doing free videos on YouTube showcasing how to do stuff that he's doing for this company and getting paid for. So to keep from having a conflict of interest, he chose to stop doing videos until he can get a good clarification on it. So good for him that he's got a good job doing what he likes doing. Bad for all of his fans who love his videos. So, yeah, we'll just have to get over it. The loss to the UE4 community not having his videos out there, because he does really good. And, I think I'm awesome and shit, but I don't have a sexy smooth voice like he does. These British people and New Zealand people and Australian people, they got that accent going on. Even some of the other foreign guys that I watch, Jonas, Mulligard or whatever. Some of these other ones have the really cool accent. I don't have a cool accent. I don't even have a redneck accent. Hell, I live in South Carolina in the United States. You would think that, we's the one that started the Civil War, when the first shots of the Civil War were fired right here in Charleston. I don't have a damn redneck twinge to my voice. I don't have an accent of anything. Other than a slight speech impediment because I have a full upper denture plate. I mean, hell, I'm only one notch above boring as fuck to watch. But at least I know that. Well, I know, South Carolina rules, man. Shit, I'm right here in Charleston, man. I'm right here near the beach. I could, if I wanted to, I could hop in one of my two Jeeps. Well, the green Jeep is not exactly mobile right now because it has no brake system at all, and the carburetor's fouled up bigger than hell. The starter's sitting on the table next to me, about 20 feet away, so it's not even in the car. The spark plugs are sitting on the other half of my desk over here. So yeah, the green Jeep is a 1960 Willys. It needs a lot of money thrown in for parts. Here, Charlotte, pretty cool up there. There's not too far from there was oh god, I used to go up there quite a bit to Charlotte, but like Fort Mill area and that kind of stuff. Used to make deliveries up there quite a bit. My current Jeep, and I'll talk about this in another video, and I've mentioned it before, but my other vehicle is a Jeep as well, and it's relatively rare. It's a 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Oh, it's a Grand Cherokee. It's not a real Jeep. All right, well, you know what? I got a real Jeep, a 1960 Willys Jeep, and I've had other real Jeeps, but it's a 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee 5.9 Limited, meaning that it came with a 5.9 liter V8, which is a 360 cubic inch V8, and it's all-wheel drive. Not four-wheel drive. It has a low range, so you can actually, shift the transfer case from 4 high to 4 low, but it's full-time all-wheel drive. And I'm going to tell you what, that damn thing will shit and get. There's my redneck for you. That thing will shit and get. You step on the gas pedal, it gets traction, it hooks up. So if you need to go somewhere and you need to get off the line pretty damn quick, yeah. Now, if I had the extra money for it, there is a Mopar Performance offers a stroker motor from Mopar Performance themselves, and I was trying to jump and make it to that ladder, but you can get a 408 cubic inch V8, which is a stroker version of the current motor that I've got, based off of the Magnum V8, and that's what it is. It's a 5.9 liter Magnum engine that I have, and it's from the factory to have that 360 V8. But you can get it from 360. You can get a stroker kit or a stroker block from Mopar, or stroker engine at 408 cubic inches. Oh well, you're going from 360 to 408. That's 48 more cubic inches. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, the stock horsepower from my vehicle was 245, but it was like 265 foot-pounds of torque from the factory. So if you can imagine essentially doubling the horsepower and more than doubling the torque on a vehicle that already, it doesn't feel like, like a Mustang older Mustang where you just dump the clutch and get into it and it puts you back in the seat. Well, this will put you back in the seat, but not near as hard. But those seats are leather and they're heated. They're comfortable. Needless to say, it's a sleeper vehicle, and people don't realize the performance level of that vehicle, because I've gone up against many other vehicles, stoplight to stoplight, and whip their ass. I've actually had somebody follow me to a gas station. I'm like, what the hell do you have in there? And before I could even get out the damn vehicle to get out to go in the store, like, what the hell you got in there? And I just kind of stick my arm out the window and point down at the badges. You got the badges on both sides and on the rear that say 5.9. And I point down to that. And I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know they put those in there. Yeah. And well, a lot of good conversations started with other people that never knew that it existed. Alright, so if you guys want to see me get tortured and going through all of the retargeting and so forth, and setting this up to work with Cindy Studios characters, I'm going to take a break for a little bit, and just let me know in Discord. Say, hey, yes, do it, so you can see me suffer and stutter, and like, you're a dumbass, and you can poke fun at me and say, you're supposed to do it this way, or you got to do it that way. But yeah, well, if you want to have some good fun watching me suffer and stutter, and let me know, and let me know which asset pack. I've got almost all of them. I don't have the new one yet. They're the new gangster one. I don't have that yet, and maybe one or two others, but I've got almost everything else. But if you want to see one, let me know. If you want to see a project made with this, you guys definitely for sure need to grab this asset pack today. Like I said, it's still free. Like right now, it's still free up until midnight tonight. But whenever the new ones come out tomorrow, I will jump on them, take a look at them, and I will do a video on all 5 of them. I'll try to do like one a day, or I might do 2 in one day and 2 another day, and 1 another day, whatever. But I need to get back on the ball with my videos, and I will start doing videos on all the free assets so you can see if they're actually worth it. Now, when it comes to actually buying new ones, well, anytime I'm able to buy a new asset pack, it's because of you guys, the viewers, and making donations. You guys know I have no income that I can put towards this stuff. So if you want to see one, then you guys got to make donations. Oh no, he's begging for money again, you broke piece of shit. But when it comes to that, like I said, I don't have an income. I don't have money to spare, because he hides a stack of 20s right there on my desk. But I'm hiding it with a 1911. So, but if you guys want to see reviews on stuff, then start chipping in some more. We'll start a Jeep fund, because you know what? For the green Jeep, guys, remind me. I'll throw a picture of it on Discord. I'm gonna start like crowdfunding. Y'all get my Jeep running. I need a carburetor. I need a radiator. I need the entire braking system. I mean, from the master cylinder all the way down to the brake drums and shoes and springs and wheel cylinders. I need all of that, because some ass clown pulled the master cylinder out. They also frickin' cut the original factory trailer hitch. Why would you do that? They cut it in half to get it off of there, instead of, well, it was kind of rusted in place, but we won't get into that. But yeah, I'm going to do a crowdfunding for my my Jeep. It will improve my sanity. Alright, so I'm going to get out of here. You guys go and download this damn thing right now. Right frickin' now. And get this one too if you want. Like I said, I did a video on it earlier. What I found with these, and I'm not saying anything about this guy's stuff here, but what I found with some of these that are like architecture kits, some of them are good, some of them are difficult to work with, but this one doesn't look too bad. I mean, you got carts and separate axles for them, barrels, and if that's your deal, which hell, I could have just said the hell with it and used one of these free asset packs that were available from the marketplace to create something. In fact, there was one that was free a month and a half ago. You can see I have a shit ton of asset packs in here. There's the liquid quadruped fantasy creatures. That was a free one. Procedural nature pack. That was free. Polypixel freebie pack. Free, naturally. Rolls and dodges was free. Retro 8-bit sound. Sci-fi hallway. Sci-fi kit bash. Those were both free. Of course, Soul Cave and Small Animal Behavior Pack was free. Of course, Shooter Game. Robo Progress Bars. I haven't even begun to mess with those yet. Soul City. Sound Phenomenon. These are all free stuff that I got from here on the marketplace. Urban Material Pack. Pretty cool looking materials. Subculture Girl. Don't ask. That was for somebody else. User Interface Kit was free. This wasn't bad, but I ended up getting another AI kit. Water Materials was free. Watermill Environment. The Berlin Project, or Berlin Flat. This is for a much older version. Weapon Component. Not sure if that was the free version or if that's one I paid for, but USQL Lite database. Really wanted to mess with that, but I hadn't got into it yet. Utopia. I'm pretty much on the fence of saying don't screw with Utopia. It's definitely a money-making thing. They're trying to everywhere they're looking. They got their hand out for money, but it's a good service if it's your only choice. So before signing up for an account with them, get with me first and I'll explain it better. UE4 Mannequin Mobile, really not necessary. You can use the regular Mannequin for a mobile. Survival Game Kit was not a free one. 1.1 gigabytes. Yeah, I've got a buttload of free stuff that I get every month. PolyArt Wolf, that was a free one. Platformer Starter Kit, Platformer Kit 2D, those were all free. Pedestrians was not free. However, if you need pedestrian animations, just frickin' get that one. There's like hundreds. It started off with like 98 or something like that, and he keeps updating the damn thing, and it's like 160 at one point, then there was 180, and I've lost count of how many animations he's put in there. It is frickin' awesome. Of course, all the Paragon garbage. Over 9,000 swords, and they're kind of modular-ish to build those. Open world demos. So it be in your best interest to get all these free content things when they're available. You know what? I keep forgetting about that as well. The free games. I hadn't checked in on what's free on game-wise because I only play a handful of games. Network Destruction, that was free. Death Animations, that was free. Battle Royale Template, that was not free. I haven't updated that one yet. But yeah, with the Epic Games, because this is more than just a, Unreal Engine 4 launcher. In case you didn't know, I mean, Oxygen Not Included, available now. Is that free right now? Is that the free game this month? Oxygen Not Available? It's kind of a humorous little game. I'll have to look at that one. Because if that's available now, then hell, I might just queue that one up for download. Oh, it's not free this one? Okay. Well, if it ain't free, then shit, I don't want it. No. It's actually a pretty cool little game. I've seen other people play it on YouTube, but it's not something that I would pay for right off because it's just not my kind of game. It looks like a good time killer. Never played that before. I've seen other people talk about it, but Maneater. I think I've seen play on that one before too. Grifflands. I haven't played Warface, of all things, and World of Warplanes. I've got the Division 2. I played it for like 3 weeks and was so freaking bored with it that I just said to hell with it. I pre-ordered frickin' Division 2, and you would think that, oh yeah, it's so great, and it was, like I said, I was bored with it. Free games. Moonlighter and War of Mine. Interesting. Contains mature content. Oh no. What is it, just an FPS? This War of Mine. I'll have to look at it. I mean, I've got so many freaking games on here, and I've got so much. I have a half terabyte hard drive that's just about full of Unreal Engine 4 stuff. You know? And that's not all of my stuff. I still got more on my C drive, which is a 1 terabyte drive. I got another 1 terabyte hard drive I need to install because I've been out of space for a while. I just need to break down and buy a real hard drive, you know, like a 4 terabyte or something like that, or a couple of them, because having a 1 terabytes and a half terabyte is not that great. 2.5 terabytes, shit, you know. Got a loan. I put my car as collateral on a loan back in the early days of computers, because that new hard drive that I wanted that was 540 megabytes, that shit was $600. So I had to use my car as collateral to get a loan, a personal loan, so I could buy a freaking hard drive. I'll take a peek at this one, you know, some reviews, videos, and that kind of stuff. But I'll have to look at it because, like I said, I've been playing so many other games that, you know, I just don't have hard drive space to put more games in because I got so much Unreal Engine 4 stuff in here. Games-wise, like I said, I've been playing Warface. If you're not familiar with that, did a video a while back on it. Oh, goody, there's a patch for it. Warface is by my.com. Armored Warfare is what got me into this, and I said to hell with it. I was looking at these other games here, and Warface, it looked interesting, so, and it's free to download, free to play, and no, I tried to buy some premium content with them, and my bank stopped the transaction. I had to wait and call my bank the following Monday because it was on a weekend. They locked my debit card. They shut it down. Nope, they locked it because it was a foreign transaction because they're a Russian company. And I appreciate that from my bank. I'm not mad at them, but it locked my freaking debit card for the entire weekend. Thankfully, I've got another account that I can use for normal stuff. But that account is the only thing I use that account for is for online purchases. It's a whole separate bank account, and I only keep enough money in there. Well, it's because I don't have any money, but the only money that goes in there is like donations from PayPal and stuff like that. That's my separate money for game purchases, asset purchases, things like that for review stuff. So that's more or less like my YouTube account, even though it's not bound to my YouTube account. Well, actually, I think it is. But I'm not monetized yet because I'm still in review waiting for it. Alright, I'm going to get out of here, take a break for a little bit. You guys let me know on Discord if you want me to suffer through setting up a City Studios asset pack with this one right here, because this one is, I think, pretty damn cool. And what you want to see asset pack wise, you want to see like Vikings, or if you want to see, you do want to see it. I kind of want to do it just to be different, but you know, think about which asset pack. Like I said, I was thinking either Battle Royale or the Adventure Pack. It was Adventure. Actually, I've got the Adventure Pack in with a Jeep project that I was doing because it has a Jeep in it. Oh my God, I got so much stuff in here. Or horse animations, house plant. interior house plants. You know, that asset pack that I got. I think it was free. So the Explorer kit has kind of like the Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom vibe to it. So you got like the male and female Explorer Jeep. You got some basic stuff here, but it doesn't have any ladders or anything in it, and that's kind of what we were working towards. And unless it was to combine this with damn it, why would you do that? Go back to where I was. Yeah, farm pack, prototype pack. You know what? That one's actually got well, it doesn't have. You got like yellow and green and red and blue characters. You don't actually have the players. Been wanting to do another one with the sci-fi space pack because I have this game theme in my head that I wanted to explore. Western heist farm explorer. I have also got, let's see here, Cindy Studios, Polygon. The latest updates was July. I've got there's adventure, battle royale, city zombies, city characters, fantasy rivals, knights, mini fantasy pack, mini fantasy character pack, nature pack, pirate, samurai, sci-fi, town, Vikings, war, Western frontier, Western. I've got Santa Claus. I've got the water gun, the plane, Christmas. I've got yeah, like I said, I've got almost all of them. Could do like a ninja Santa Claus deal, you know. I haven't messed with the Santa Claus character yet. I need to import him into one of my projects, just kind of play around with it. In fact, where is he? Polygon Santa. He was in the freebie section of the City Studios website. What the hell? No archive found. What the hell? So when were our archive? Huh. I'll have to re-download it because it appears to be broken. So I'll try that one later. It's yeah. Oh, and the simple. I've got the simple stuff too, like simple apocalypse, city, dungeons, fantasy interiors, house interiors, military pack, office, people, port, props, items, and icons. I use that one pretty regular on a couple different projects. Racer pack, shop interiors, space pack, temples, town, and trains. So I've got a lot of Cindy Studios assets. Like I said, almost all of them. So you guys let me know, and I'll do one. It might suck. It might cause me to cuss a little bit, but I'll set up another video here in about 15 minutes, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, let me get out of here. We've overstretched this video a little bit longer than normal, and kind of make it a spitballing if you want, or whatever for the next video. Well, I'll see you soon, and give me a shout in Discord if you want to select, say, use this one or use that one. But we'll come up with something. All right, guys, we'll see you in a few minutes.